So, welcome everyone. I'm just going to spotlight Charlotte, and I don't know how I spotlight myself as well. That's a bit of challenge too far for me. Hold on a sec. So you can see me. There we are. So welcome to our time of togetherness today, which is an introduction to our pilgrimage in everyday life, which Charlotte has very kindly offered to lead us for, which will be in the month of June, although it's something you could do at another time of year or another occasion. But we're hoping that there'll be a number of people that will agree to journey together through the month of June. And Charlotte will explain a lot more about that as we go through. But what we wanted to do today was just give you a taster of some of the material and some of the kind of way of thinking that Charlotte will be introducing us to in June. So all I'll say about Charlotte is a woman who needs no introduction, but all I'll say about her is that she's been involved with Contemplative Fire from the very early days, 20 years ago. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. And she was involved for a bit and then not so much, and then very much involved from a long time ago. Way before I became a companion. So she's somebody who understands the roots and the emergence of Contemplative Fire, and she'll share more with you about her delight that she's found in this work of Bruno Barnhart as we go through. So I'm not going to say anything else about her, I don't think. I'm going to leave her to introduce herself anymore if she would like to, and remove my spotlight so that you can focus on her and what she has to share. Thanks, Charlotte. Over to you.
Ali, thank you. I don't think I need to say anything more, and I'm conscious of the fact that we've only got an hour together, and I don't want to waste time about me or anything else, just to introduce you to Bruno Barnhart, who you may or may not have heard of or known about, but basically I want to introduce you to his ideas surrounding the wisdom of the cross. He had one thought, which was the wisdom of the cross as the one unitive reality unfolding into 4 dimensions. I just want to say before I do start that there may be some phrases, some words that seem strange or unfamiliar. Please don't worry about this. Please just let anything I say or read, because I will be reading, wash over you. Just receive it as dipping your toe in water or paddling in the pool, or however you want to think of it, standing in the breeze and feeling refreshed and cooled, whatever way you want to receive this. So I'm going to read you something that I've written, and this will be part of the all the notes that will be part of the pilgrimage. So Father Bruno Barnhart was a monk, a mystic, a hermit, and former prior of New Camaldoli Hermitage in California. He was a close friend and mentor of Cynthia Bourgeot. She described him as a gifted writer, thinker, and spiritual teacher. Richard Rohr has upheld Barnhart for his certainty about Christianity as a spiritual wisdom tradition. Many have discovered Bruno's unitive vision to be full of power and life. He died in 2015, aged 84. My introduction to Bruno Barnhart was when Cynthia Bourgeot quoted him in her book, The Wisdom Jesus. His words immediately reminded me of the charism of Contemplative Fire. I was so energized by what he said that I set out to know more. Bruno had written, This Jesus whom we encounter is a light at the center of the world, a fire at the world's edge. He moves beneath the images of himself as an alternate center of energy. He awakens that which lies at the core of my own being. The knowledge of Jesus Christ is a unitive knowledge. It is the luminosity of my own true and eternal being. I wanted to know more about what Bruno's vision was. So I bought his book, Second Simplicity, and very quickly realized that he was a profound and intricate thinker whose writing, in attempting to piece together civilization, creation, faith, and humanity in the wholeness of one unitive wisdom, left me wondering in amazement, often not able to grasp the complexity of his thoughts. I am no Bruno expert. I am a novice in his ways, but what I am hoping to offer here is some simple explanation, some simple understanding that I have gained about Bruno's idea of Christian wisdom, either from his book, Second Simplicity, or from those who have studied his teaching and have written about it. Bruno believed that our Western civilization, despite all its scientific and technological advancement, had not produced a corresponding development in human sensibility, mental or spiritual. In fact, he considered that our depth of awareness and consciousness had decreased. He particularly thought this was so with contemporary Christianity, believing it had almost lost touch with its spiritual depth. He wrote, "This depth of life and consciousness that has so largely disappeared from our Western civilization and from our Western Christianity is wisdom." His life's work was to give himself to the midwifing of a new sapiential or wisdom understanding of the Christian path. He sought and desired no less than a wholehearted recovery and recognition of the mystical wisdom tradition that was once a powerful component in Christian spirituality. Bruno understood that we could not go back and return to some earlier expression of wisdom. He recognized the world had moved on. He was convinced that our modern secular society needed an integrated movement across the whole spectrum of life to take us forward, to lead us into a wisdom awareness that could serve and unite us all globally. By embracing wisdom, Bruno believed that a new balance and harmony could emerge in the world to create a unitive experience for all. He called this experience a second simplicity, which he believed would come through the encounter of sapiential, that's wisdom, sapiential awareness and wisdom awakening. He saw how this could move us into a fuller experience of Christianity, experience of wisdom that brings all created reality into unity with God. For Bruno, this unitive vision of wisdom was at the very root and heart of the Christian faith. He saw how, as with many ancient wisdom traditions, it unfolded into 4 dimensions. He mapped his vision using the Celtic cross, which he saw as a 4-in-1 mandala. He described it as a quaternity of energies with 4 poles, expressing as he saw them the 4 movements of Christianity. He named the 4 movements: the silence, the word, the music, and the dance. Each movement relates to one of the 4 poles of the cross as he saw it, encompassing the Christian Trinity of Father, Son, and Spirit, together with humanity and the whole of the created cosmos. The Celtic cross, with its mandala-like circle, was a symbol that expressed for Bruno the one and the non-dual unitive reality. His vision was of unitive wisdom, which he saw as being of all times and all faiths. He called this the inner shape of Christianity. Bruno's mandala is a cross planted deep in the earth, reaching to the heavens, all embracing in its span. In the words of St. Paul, he saw how this was the breadth, length, height, and depth of the Christ mystery, the wisdom Christ he encountered, shining forth as a light at the center of the world, a fire at the world's edge. So, what did Bruno mean by wisdom? What is wisdom knowing? Bruno believed that at the core of Christian spirituality was a wisdom experience that could bring about a change of consciousness, a new awareness. He understood Jesus as the divine wisdom come into the world, the divine wisdom which has become one with humanity, making possible a unitive experience of oneness of being. When Bruno spoke of wisdom, he used phrases like wisdom Christ, wisdom awakening, body wisdom, and wisdom knowing. He also spoke about the taste of wisdom. He said, "What you taste, you are taking into yourself. You are absorbing. It is becoming you." Wisdom gives you a taste, and at the same time, it is tasting you. It is somehow assimilating you. Bruno's wisdom knowing was a way of experiential or participatory knowing, understood at various levels of a person's being, as he said, in the affective movements of one's heart, in one's way of life, and in one's consciousness. For him, wisdom is to know with the whole of the person, bodily, imaginatively, intuitively, and to know from the inside where you and what you are looking at penetrate one another. Wisdom knowing for Bruno was about something deep and alive going on beneath the surface that draws you in with a certain sweetness. It becomes you. It becomes you. He said, it's less of what we do than what happens to us, what we encounter. That changes us. That brings about transformation. I'd like to invite you now, for the rest of our time together, to reflect on 3 quotes from Bruno about wisdom knowing. We'll have 3 times of stillness, each lasting about 10 minutes. Ali's going to put the quote on your screens, and I will read the quote twice before going into a stillness. And then she will stop that time of stillness with the gong. And then after the 3rd quote and the 3rd gong, and the 3rd time of stillness, we will have a time of sharing if that's what you want at the end. And Ali will round the meeting off. So for your contemplation, wisdom begins in wonder. Something profound awakens when a child opens a book and finds its pages full of light, the words radiant, even though their meanings remain indistinct. Wisdom begins in wonder. Something profound awakens when a child opens a book and finds its pages full of light, the words radiant, even though their meanings remain indistinct. Spiritual wisdom is always a beginning. A simple, luminous fullness. Spiritual wisdom is always beginning. A simple, luminous fullness. Wisdom is to know with the whole of the person, bodily, imaginatively, and intuitively, and to know from the inside where you and what you are looking at penetrate one another. Wisdom is to know with the whole of the person, bodily, imaginatively, intuitively, and to know from the inside where you and what you are looking at penetrate one another.
Okay, that brings us to an end of our time of contemplation today. Let me just swap over the spotlight. And all that remains to be said really today is that if you want to pursue Bruno Barnhart's wisdom further, there will be this opportunity for the pilgrimage in everyday life in June. Charlotte, do you want to say anything more about that here or refer people to emails?
I think that Sarah, our administrator, is going to send out a flyer about the pilgrimage tomorrow. That's what I thought. If Sarah's there, I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's got a lot more explanation about it.
Yeah, so we're not expecting you to sign up for 24 hours a day through the whole of June or anything like that.
No.
But there'll be a check-in briefly. There'll be a sort of check-in, some input on the Sunday evenings at this sort of time through June each week instead of the usual time of togetherness. So if you normally come to the time of togetherness, we'll have at this time, for the same length of time, we'll have some input on Bruno Barnhart each week through June. And then there's some optional check-in times midweek as well, but there'll be information about that coming around by email. If you want to know more and you're not on our email list, if I can get you to sign up to that by, let me put it up here. So here we are. You just email Sarah on info@contemplativefire.org. You can see it underlined there, and that will get you on our email list, and she can send you the information about this in case it's of interest to you. And we are going to record the main sessions for that in June. So if you can't make every Sunday in June, it's still possible to journey with us for that time. So do pay attention to your emails if you get them, and do respond when it invites you to book. Please do book. It helps us enormously to know roughly how many people are going to be on the pilgrimage. It'll help Charlotte to prepare it really well. So do book when you get the invite to book, and I'm really looking forward to such a rich time. We were going to have a bit of time for some discussion now. I'm just going to stop the recording though before we do that.